Smoke.
Now
Ooh,
Dirk on him.
baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, welcome back to another episode of They Gonna Feel Me. When you get authentic conversation from authentic men. It's the three amigos today, you feel me? But we still finna bring y'all high content as we always do. As we always say, man, y'all lock in and get ready for this show. You got your boy carved him up because that's what I do when I'm on the mic. You got your boy Dirt, and you got that boy Nope. Y'all going to see that movie
Episode
Nope?
41?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. This is episode 41. But before we get into it, y'all know what we always say. Y'all see that ticker at the bottom? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share it so your mama can see it, your grandma can see it, your auntie can see it, your uncle, your cousin, them hoes on the corner selling that kunana can see it as well. Because we trying to get out there. You feel me? Let's get into the show, big dog. We starting with your boy Dave Chappelle. Now they always doing my boy wrong, man. A comedic legend. They always doing him wrong. Why? I don't know. All he doing is telling the truth, right? So recently he had a show that was canceled in Minnesota because the Alphabet Crew cannot stand what he is doing and what he is saying. That's how they will be remain named by me. Y'all call them what you want to call them. They will be remain named the Alphabet Crew by me. But fellas, tell me how y'all feel about what's going on with Dave Chappelle.
I think it's an ongoing war between two sides because they feel a certain way, and at the end of the day, Dave Chappelle feels a certain way as an artist. And I watched his special, well, really it was a award speech that he was giving, and he was talking about why he told his alma mater that he wanted the name of the school to be, because they were going to name it after him. He said, "I want you to name it the School for Artistic Expression." So basically, he's fighting in his mind. He's fighting for the rights of comedians and artists everywhere to be able to have artistic freedom, to be able to make
Freedom of speech. Where does country stand for? Pretty much, right?
but to be able to create, and without people having to tell him, "Hey, this is what you can do," or "This is what you can do." I don't want. Man, I really don't want to get on the soapbox about this, but it's one of them situations where it seems like, as you call them, the Alphabet Crew. It seems as if they're different from everybody else. And when I say that, it's like blacks. He jokes on blacks. Blacks don't say anything. He jokes on whites. I mean, what a white's gonna say? He jokes on every ethnicity, every demographic. But when he makes jokes, on their demographic, it seems like, you can't say anything. You can't say anything about them. Why is it? Are you different from anybody else? You're no better or no worse than anybody else. If I can tell jokes on blacks or whites or whatever, what's the difference? It's not like it's coming from a mean spirited place, like, "Hey, I hate you. I hope the worst things in life happen to you." It's a comedian, that's telling jokes. And to me, as a comedian, I don't think, if it's coming out of, if it's not out of a evil or a mean spirited, like, "Hey, I'm intentionally saying this to hurt you." To me, I don't see it. I don't see a problem with it. But that's
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a problem with it either. I think for some reason, man, and when it comes to like people, like especially like celebrities and comedians and people that are on the big mainstream, they have a problem when people speak out against them or say something about them. And it's just got to come to a point where, I mean, when are you guys going to realize that you have to go through stuff just like everybody else has to go through stuff? You got to get these jokes just like everybody else got to get these jokes. Honestly, I mean, you're what separates you from everybody else? Other than your gender or your sexual preferences or the things that you choose. I just don't see why it's a problem when it's just jokes. We're talking about a comedian. We're talking about these aren't his true feelings. He's even come out and said that he supports the LGBTQ community, the Alphabet Crew community. So I just don't understand where they're why they're so gung ho about going against Dave Chappelle and trying to get him canceled and all these things when he really, I mean, ultimately he hadn't really said anything that bad. Like to me personally, it's not like he's saying anything outlandish like, let's stop gay marriage or, he's not saying anything that's outlandish or, something that's detrimental to their community. So what is the problem? Where is all this, I mean, I'm sure people are protesting and things of that nature, but where is the malice towards people like who are really trying to stop gay marriage and things of that
I
nature. You know what I'm
agree
saying?
with you.
Like there's people who've openly spoke about we need to revert these laws, and I don't see the same contempt for them. You know what I'm saying? That y'all got for Dave Chappelle. So what's the problem?
I also think it's a slippery slope because where's the dividing line though? Like what at what point do we neuter all artists and tell them, it gets to a certain point where like nobody nobody wants to, or nobody feels the freedom enough to push the envelope. Because if you go back in time, how people always talk about the genius of Richard Pryor, the genius of Eddie Murphy, the genius of Paul Mooney, uh, George Carlin. I mean, these were iconic comedians, but they pushed the envelope. They made you feel a certain way. They held up a mirror and said, "Hey, America," or "Hey, world, this is you. We're telling you about yourself, but we're doing it in a comedic way." At what point, like, it can go from comedy to go to music. At what point do we want to um uh get to a point where we're like I said, we just neutering our artists to where they don't feel the freedom in which to be able to create. Because
Yeah, and I
after
mean,
all,
that even brings about the question: is it going to be art anymore? Is it going to be as good as it would be if they were allowed to be free? We're going to have people that's handicapped, and we're really not going to get the results that we've gotten, in the past. It's not going to be true to that artist, if they have to censor themselves and, oh, let me watch what I say because I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't know if my career is going to be, devastated by me saying something, towards this community or that community. And so I feel like freedom of expression, especially when it comes to like music and comedy, those are things that shouldn't really be censored, in a
the
way.
arts.
As long as it's not too outlandish or it's not somebody coming out saying some things that can really hurt, or hinder a community, then I don't see what the problem is, honestly. Like I said, Dave Chappelle's not saying anything detrimental to that community. He hasn't come out, saying let's go kill them all. Like let's, like he's not saying anything that bad. It's just jokes at the end of the day. And I agree. It's like, at what point are we gonna, stop censoring people and being so coming to this point where we're almost have to be agreeable or everybody has to think the same way. That's not how we progress as a civilization. Like if everybody agrees with everybody, how are we supposed to come up with new ideas and progress? As a country, as a civilization, as a world, if we're always agreeing with one another. That's how new things are created by disagreeing and coming to solutions, new solutions for things. So we gotta stop this whole, agreeing, yeah, agreeableness and get along with one another because it doesn't have to be like that, We're gonna disagree. That's just human nature at the end of the day.
Yep.
And it gets to a point where you got to ask yourself, are we this thin skinned,
Yeah.
to where the simplest things bother bother us to the point where we want to protest, or whether we want to stop a man or stop an individual from using their talent to feed their family. Now, looking at it from the opposing side, of course, you're going to have some people who are mean spirited. You're gonna have some people who
Mhm.
take, those jokes and just run out to the nth degree. But no matter what you do, you always gonna have those kind of you're always
Right.
gonna have those kind of people that are just gonna take something that somebody says and think that gives them the green light to be hateful. And that's
Right.
where it goes back to what I was saying about what is the intent behind it. Because if I tell a joke, I tell a simple joke, meaning I'm teasing Reezy or I'm teasing Chris. I'm telling it out of fun. I'm telling it because I got love for them. I'm not telling it because, hey, I'm trying to make him feel bad. So I'm trying to say the meanest, most hurtful thing I can possibly say. And I think that separates your intent. Your intent is what separates it to me. But I think that's gonna be a battle that they're gonna keep going, because I think Chappelle is steadfast, and he's really committed to artistic expression, kind of like Luke back was in the late '80s and early '90s when they were fighting for lyrics against the government and being able to say what they want to say in music.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it just feels like that that crew is just forcing their thoughts and beliefs on everybody. You know what I mean? And it's like it's not again. It's all jokes. I mean, you look at Eddie Murphy. He made a whole movie about being fat. Nobody went and protested about being fat and being obese. Multiple movies made millions off of it. That's who we remember him by, right? But somebody can't make a joke about your thoughts and beliefs. Like, I mean, nobody's saying that they hate you. We get it. You won. You've gotten your rights. But at the end of the day, we still have black people who don't have rights. We still have we being people of color, even people of color who are of that alphabet crew don't even get the respect that they deserve. You know what I mean? So it's like it's pointless, it's sad, man. It's ridiculous to constantly I just get sick and tired of this same battle over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, what else do y'all want? Almost. That's like the question that I start asking. What else do you want? Okay, we can't talk about you. Okay. Then we can't say you can't get married. Okay. Then you say you have to allow kids to be free and question their own sexuality. Okay. Oh, it needs to be displayed more in movies. I even remember hearing I think this was a while ago, but one lady that Charlemagne the God and them were interviewing, they was like, it's so scary producing movies and certain things like that nowadays because they have to make sure they cross every bridge. Do we have enough black people in there? Do we have enough white people in there? Do we have enough LGBTQT content in there? Okay, now we can put it out. It's like you got to cross so many bridges to make sure that everything is diluted and correct and it's 100% authentic before it goes out. And it's like, when does that become art if that's not your true being? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, even going back to this week, we went and saw Thor, and at the end of Thor, what happened, for those that went and saw it at the end of Thor to see what happened with the Rock dude, it was like, I mean, come on, man. Like, y'all had to put that in there. Like, it's just crazy to see how they cross so many bridges and how you can't say one thing about them. If you do, if it's not positive, if it's negative in any kind of way, you run the risk of losing your whole career. So it's sad. I get sick and tired of it, but I'm with Dave Chappelle. I hope he keeps fighting for his right to be a comedian and spread comedic genius throughout this whole world. And motherfuckers stop being so sensitive at the end of the day. What else
I
do you
mean,
what
lighten,
what
lighten.
more do you want from
What do you want from me? Lighten up, man. Y'all got so much representation out here. Y'all done won so many battles, and it's time that y'all can take take a step backwards and enjoy life. Y'all ain't gotta continue fighting. That's just like I mean the racism thing, like black people. And we get these jokes too. We've been through a lot, but we know how to take a joke at the end of the day, when people joke about us. And I feel like it should be the same way, man. Like, just learn how to lighten up and not be so on the defensive all the time.
all I'm gonna say is this before we go on to the next topic. Y'all using y'all energy to fight this battle with Dave Chappelle. You need to be saving your energy and using it for whenever it's time to elect these folks in the house and stuff. You already got people like Ted Cruz saying that it was a bad idea to have same sex marriage. If you think they can take women's rights away to get abortions, don't think they ain't coming for y'all next. So get ready for that fight. That's all I'm gonna say. Go back a couple years later when that comes up. Make sure y'all go back and y'all look at this episode because your boy carved them up. Told you straight up if they came for them women's rights to get rid of some of them babies that for whatever reason, just know that they're coming for y'all next. Moving on to the next topic. We got Teddy Bridgewater and Captain Jack. So Teddy Bridgewater spread some good light, pretty much saying, he's tired of the young folks getting, coming from poverty, coming from nothing, doing right, going to school, getting a college degree, then you get to the league, whether that be football, basketball, whatever the case may be, and then they show their thuggish, ruggish ways. So y'all tell me, I have a little bit of a different, insight on it or thought about it, but y'all tell me what y'all feel about what Teddy Bridgewater said, and then what Captain Jack said as well.
I agree. I ultimately agree with what both of them said, man.
Mhm.
I just think, like, especially when you look at the Miles Bridges situation, man. Like, dude was on the cusp of getting a big contract. He balled out last year, and he was finna get paid. Now he may be facing prison time because
Mhm.
he wanna be a thug. He wanna, beat on his girl. He wanna, like, dog, like what is that? It's like it's almost like they trying to be accepted. They want to be accepted on both fronts. They
Yeah.
want to be accepted by the thugs, by the hip hop community, and then they want to be accepted by the NBA community. So they want to like merge these two communities, basically these two genres together. And it's like, bro, you don't need that validation, because what you don't realize is the people that rap in the hood, the hood niggas gonna respect you anyway because you out here hooping. They watching you on
But then
TV.
and your boy
You
Jeezy
know what I'm
said
saying?
a couple years ago, rappers want to be ball players want to be
Yeah,
rappers. I
yeah.
mean, hey,
They want to be in, and it's so true, because
You saw what he said though.
you look at
If he do get jail time, he just
he'll
gonna
become a
full.
rapper. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
I mean, it's stupid. It's like, but what Chris just said is true. When you look at the guys like Drake, they want to be ballers. They rapping, but they out here training just like the NBA dudes is with all these professional trainers. You see them posting their clips and stuff where they learning how to shoot. Dirk, another one. He out here hooping. Quavo, another one. You see him in all the games. So it's like, bro, like why?
But you
Why
wasn't
are
with
you
me
trying
shooting in
so
the
hard?
gym.
Why are you trying so hard to be accepted by somebody that you already accepted by? Why are you trying to be something that you not? I agree, especially if you're not from that. If you rapping about stuff that you haven't lived, if you from the suburbs and you out here talking about you sold all these drugs, you busting out, you got a Draco, you doing all this stuff, and that's not you. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you rap about that, my boy? I saw who was that? Kay Cunningham. He another one. He trying to get into the whole rap scene. And it's like, bro, what is y'all doing? What I mean, like, really?
I mean, but
Like,
my
just be
thing,
like Dame Lillard. Look at Dame. Dame is a perfect example of how to do it the right way. Like, he got that perfect balance. He's had many I think like 3 or 4 albums. He done did collabs with Lil Wayne. Like, he's openly respected by the hip hop community. He works with some of the biggest artists, but he still stays true to himself. He ain't got to rap about busting guns and selling drugs. He can just be a hip hop head and, like, really have some lyrical content, and they embrace him and they respect that. You ain't gotta rap about guns and all this stuff to be respected. But anyway, I'm gonna let y'all talk. I
I
want to get on
think
my soapbox.
I think the thing about it though is there. And when I stopped and thought about this for a minute, it makes sense. It makes sense because look at their influences though.
yep,
Look at who they grow up. Look at who they grow up listening to.
I'm
So
Idolizing.
saying.
Yeah.
if I'm growing up listening to a certain a certain kind of hip hop, look at their age range and look at who was popular, when they were coming up. So then you kind
Right.
of see why they are influenced by certain things, and understand also that we realize, well, they don't realize, uh when you get to a certain understanding, a certain knowledge of hip hop, when you realize that everybody ain't what they say they are. We talked about Rick Ross last week in his issue, but this is something totally different. But when you realize that, hey, a lot of these guys are really studio, they really studio rappers. You know,
Mm.
they are almost WWF. Oh, I'm sorry, WWE
Mm.
characters. You know, Plies is another one. He's not rapping his life; he's rapping somebody else's life. His brother, his brother to be example, and it's a whole bunch of others. Now you got some that are actually doing what actually doing what they're talking about. But think about it: an impressionable teenager growing up, listening to people, and you thinking, hey, if Rick Ross said he done sold all that dope, he done doing all this, he's doing all that, he must be telling the truth. And he got all this he got all this money, he got all these houses, he got all these women. So what I'm gonna do? I'm finna try to do the same thing because we know it's a copy. I mean, entertainment is copycat anyway. You
Mhm.
hear
Yeah.
somebody with a flow. You hear somebody with a flow, and guess what? You gonna come up with the same kind of. You gonna come up with that same kind of flow. You remember, like we said a while ago, Biggie had a flow. Puff came back and got who? Shine. Sound almost kind of like it. I can't remember the other guy. I'm talking about. He
Gorilla
sounded.
Black or
Gorilla
something like
Black,
that.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm talking about sounded exactly like Big. So it's a copycat, it's a copycat league. And if they see, hey, this is what I sound like, and this is what's making the money. Look at 6ix9ine. No, I'm just saying. But you got going back to Stephen Jackson and Teddy Bridgewater. I just think it is great advice. Now, whether it's going in one ear and out the other, that's something totally different. Because a lot of times it's gonna fall on deaf ears. Because experience is the best teacher for some people. You can tell them that stove hot, but until they touch that
That's
stove and
it.
realize that stove hot, it's not going nothing's gonna change. So Chris, I know you got a different perspective. So
I just look at it. I mean, it ain't really much of a different perspective. Like the whole dumb stuff with Miles Bridges, and when you go to your Aaron Hernandez's and your Ray Caruso, and the stupid stuff that they've done. That's the part where I part ways, and it's like, look, bro, you've made it out of the slums. Stay out of the slums. Stay out of the hood. You know what I mean? But when we talking about people like Steven Jackson, and we talking about even your boy Deion Sanders getting up there with 30 chains on when he got drafted, like, we fail to realize where they came from, and they did the exact same thing. And it's like, we expect to, because we're older now, to put our older beliefs on the young folks. And it's like, they're going to flash and they're going to do what they do, still steer them in the right direction. But don't tell them everything that they're doing is wrong and expect them to be a certain way. I even take you back, like we were talking about before, back to the 2001, 2002 days in the NBA. Who did everybody want to be like? Allen Iverson. We all wanted tattoos, braids, everything like that. He had and wear baggy clothes. He had an influence on the league, and he got that style from where he grew up at and from rap. But he still didn't dibble and dab into stuff that they did. He did some crazy stuff, but he did some crazy stuff. I ain't giving him a whole pass.
Oh no.
He
he,
did
he did his
some
stuff. He did his stuff in
Oh
at the
he
end
no.
of high school.
he
That's why
yeah
he
he
had the
did
situation going to
exactly
Georgetown.
where he ended up going to Georgetown. He did his stuff in high school, but still he still had an influence on the league after he got drafted in. You know what I mean? And you got players and I remember when other stuff happened, they changed everything. And after the Malice at the Palace happened, they changed everything in the league. Oh no, they gotta wear suits. They can't come in wearing whatever clothes they want to wear because they were labeling the NBA as thugs. You know what I mean? But I vividly remember Captain Jack banging the five and saying everything that he was saying. So it's so odd to me that you all of a sudden now, because you're older and you're wiser, you got a different tone. That's
But
what that's why
But
and
but
that's
you
that
just said it. You
but
just
that's
you
but
just
that's
said
where
it. You're
he's
older and wiser.
yeah,
And
you're
but
older
don't
and
you
wiser,
think
but that's what I'm getting at though. Since you're older and wiser, put some of your older and wiser ways on some of these young folks and steer them in the right direction, but let's not make it seem like everything that they doing is wrong. I mean, half of these dudes, most of them don't come from the slums, and they just trying to act out and do things. Like when you see people like LaMelo Ball or Jordan Clarkson just all of a sudden out of nowhere coming with tattoos, that's a different story. But when you got players like Ja Morant, you got players like a LeBron James or a Kevin Durant who come from nothing. If they come out and they floss a little bit, I mean, you got multi-millions of dollars. I mean, come on, man. If I drop multi-millions of dollars in, if just put yourself in them kids' shoes, right? Because we was trying to floss before we even had it. So just imagine if you're in their era, if you're in their shoes and you get blessed with millions of dollars, do you think you're gonna pop out with a Benz or a Bentley, throw a couple diamond teeth in your mouth and floss for the females on the gram? I mean, like, that's just the era that they come from. You can still steer them in the right direction, but.
And I don't even disagree with you on the aesthetics part. Like, I feel like that's more of a look. Like, but we talking about dudes is actually rapping about, killing people and selling drugs. Like, that's where I have a problem. It's like when you not from that and you openly rapping about it like you did it, then I feel like it comes off as fake. It feels like you want to be validated, you want to be accepted. And to me, you just don't have to do that. Do those things and rap about those things to be accepted by the hip hop community, because we've seen it now. You got your Kendricks, you got your J. Cole, you got your JIDs, you got all these artists that are really successful and popping, and they ain't had to, necessarily talk about killing people or selling drugs. They can be themselves. And you don't but when it comes to like aesthetics and looking a certain way, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. We had the whole debate about, like you said, about Ja being a thug. I don't know where he's from, if that's where he's from and that's what, he claims, and that's cool. My thing with Stephen Jackson is like, that's clearly where he's from. That's how he grew up, when you talk about it, and he just carried it into the NBA. And I think is definitely detrimental that those guys that have been through that, who have lived that, to be on these young people, because, hey, youngster, I've been through this. You don't want to go down this path.
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying?
My point. Yeah.
Your career could be so much better than mine if you just stay on this path. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Don't follow in my footsteps. Be better than me, because I want you to be more successful than I was in the NBA. So that's where I think they're coming from. They're not trying to do it in a malicious way. They're trying to do it in a good way to kind of steer these kids in the right direction and say, hey, especially when we've talked about the RICO cases with Young Thug and Gunna. You know what I'm saying? You don't think the FBI is above trying to get some of these NBA players looped into that shit too? Shit. They want to make examples out of any and everybody. And if these dudes start rapping about drugs and guns, guess what? They're gonna be next up on the chopping block. So
yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm fine with that. It's just like, I feel like, it's at a certain time. I mean, I ain't gonna say it's at a certain time. Of course, give the young ones game and keep them out of trouble, keep them with their money in their pocket to keep, allowing them to get more money. But I mean, at the same time, let them be young. And you also sometimes got to let people learn from their mistakes as well. I mean, they gonna players fuck up. You know what I mean?
But
keep them from fucking up.
But the smartest people learn from other people's mistakes, though. That's the thing. You don't want to. Why would I go through something that somebody else done been through unnecessarily? To me, that's just stupid. And when somebody done showed me the way, and I'm just gonna bump my head anyway because I want to do it. No, like, bro, be smart. Especially when you have an advantage. You're making way more money than these guys were making in their career. For one, to be role players. Like, y'all role players making hundreds of millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no need. Why do you need to rap about a gun and drugs? Like, other than just wanting to be accepted anyway.
That's understandable. That's understandable, most definitely. I'm just talking about the overall aesthetic of it, though. I'm not talking about the rapping and actually carrying.
I mean, if you want to look a certain way, bro, I ain't like drip till you drown, my brother. I don't care, because I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Like, if I had money, I wouldn't be dripped and draped out.
That's my number one thing, because
let's drip on.
that's that's the like I said, that's my number one thing. The drip, the malicious acts definitely leave that
Hey
shit for the
man,
birds. But
go
moving on to
ahead.
the next topic. Moving on to the next topic, we got the whole Keke Palmer Zendaya colorism situation. So there was a recent post that was made that was pretty much saying that hey, Keke Palmer was just as popular as Zendaya during her time, but we only realized Zendaya because of the color of her skin, not the content of her character. So y'all tell me what y'all feel about this light skin versus dark skin debate that just to me still is dumb as hell and doesn't seem to leave. But
Oh man, this is this is a multi-layer situation, and you see it in various ways. And ironically, we kind of touched on it in regards to P Valley, with the whole Miss Mississippi thing. But I think it's something in our community that is another one of those secondary um, pieces or remnants from slavery. Where you have the the individuals working on the inside and the individuals working in the fields, and
Yeah.
it's basically you're pitting one against the other, and to divide and conquer. Because I know if we get them fighting amongst each other, guess what? Their attention is diverted from the actual culprit, which is me. So if I can get them fighting amongst each other, hey, here's a little shiny toy. Fight amongst yourselves. You will totally forget the fact that I'm the one pulling the strings, and we see it in so many ways to where we just growing up. If somebody dark, look at you, you so black, okay, and what it is about us that you look at somebody dark or you look at somebody black and you think that's ugly. Why? Because
Hmm.
you've been beat down with it for so much. Black is ugly, black is nasty, black is dirty. You hear all these things, or subconsciously you see all these things, and you talk about the various tests. Like you got Doctor. I'm gonna mess her name. I'm gonna mess her name up, and it's gonna be what she did the doll, the blue eyed test. Where she had
Mm.
various individuals, little kids. She did the test with
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
with the white dolls, and she asked the kids. These are little kids. Which doll is pretty? And almost to a man, the kids picked the white dog, because it's inbred in them that hey, white is beautiful and black is not is something to be ashamed of. So I think that's where it stems from. But I think at the end of the day, I think this conversation, this whole colorism thing is stupid, and I really think it's something that we really, as a race of people, we really need to get over it and stop giving it so much energy, and basically accept all shades for the beauty that it has, and stop being so divisive. So
it
that's
just sucks that it's always us that brings this up. Like, I mean, why? Like, my whole thing when I saw that, I was taking a shit when I saw it as well. I'm not afraid to admit it. And I mean, like, I'm just trying to figure out, like,
Yeah.
why does this even? I'm shitting and looking at this, like, bro, why does this even matter? Like, when you stack up their resume, they both have played very great roles in movies or shows that they have played in. They both had a decent run on Disney, and then they both made it to the big screen. And I mean, I think that people are bringing it up most recently because Zendaya has played in. She doesn't only have Euphoria, but then she's playing in Spider-Man, which is a widely popular
Yeah.
movie that everyone has seen. But I mean, we're not going. I was sitting there thinking about the movies that freaking I mean not Zendaya, but Keke Palmer played in. Like this girl played in Aquila and the Bee. She played in another movie where she was the first female quarterback. She played in so many different roles, bro. It's like respect greatness at the end of the day. It kind of reminds me, even though they're not there, it kind of reminds me of the Jordan LeBron debate. It's like we're so quick to down the other for something instead of just appreciating what we have in front of us. You know what I mean? Being able to appreciate the greatness that both of them have displayed. And they're both still young, they're both still beautiful, and they're both still acting. Why do we care about colorism? Keke Palmer had commercials just like Zendaya had commercials. Keke Palmer did music just like Zendaya does music. Keke Palmer played in TV shows and movies just like Zendaya plays in TV shows and movies. They both widely have done the exact same thing, and they've paved the way for other black actresses to have multiple lanes, and they're both beautiful. Like why does it
Yeah.
matter at the end of the
I
day?
I think that's the biggest issue to me. It's like they both black women at the end of the day, man. Like, what's the problem? You know, the biggest discussion I've seen, or the biggest thing that people are talking about, is the discrepancy in the money, their net worth. One's worth Keke Palmer's worth like $7 million, and Zendaya is worth like 20 million.
Hmm.
Why are y'all pocket watching, bro?
That's like comparing
Like,
Steven Jackson's era versus John Morant's era. Like, I mean, yes.
why? I mean, but and then you even alluded to it. You said Zendaya is played in the Spider-Man movies. Are we even gonna argue that, we know how much of a blockbuster those movies are, and the people that go to support those movies. So naturally, yes, she's gonna probably have a more of a net worth than Keke Palmer does, let alone off of that franchise. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not discrediting anybody. I love both actors. I think, like Chris said, they're both beautiful women. But this discussion is just so divisive. And again, all you see in the shade room feed, or wherever this conversation, I think it started on what's that, TMZ, with they messy ass. They started this bullshit. And so, now all of us are arguing over, oh, let's not act like Keke Palmer's not a better actor than Zendaya, or, why y'all bringing Zendaya into this, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, why do we feel the need to compare people to one another?
The only
If
that was, and I had to look it up because it was gonna irk me. Dr. Jane Elliott with that
Yeah.
experiment. But the only from a different perspective, I will say this. Now, my only issue would be if the fact that Zendaya was getting certain roles because she was of fairer skin, because the casting directors, or the people that are over the projects figure that she's more palatable and more marketable because she is of fairer skin, and in on some type of discrimination type deal. Now that
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
that's the
but
kind of situation, I'm not cool. I'm not cool with that. But if
yeah, I
it's
get what you
talking about
go
just
ahead.
in our community, then it's somewhere like we need to chill on that and accept like the different shades. But if it's actual discrimination because okay, she can pass, almost like years ago with Holly Berry and Roots, I'm not Roots, with Queen, she was able to pass, because sometimes depending on the situation she was in, if she wanted to appear or be fit in with the white community, she was able to slide over that way. But then if she was in with black folk, the legendary line, she's like, I nigger, you know what I'm saying, where she was able to be able to switch just like that. So if that's the situation, or that's the discussion that they're having, okay, I can understand that, because okay, that is a problem if you're just hiring Zendaya because she's of fairer skin than Keke Palmer. But if it's within us, then we need to get over that.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying with that, but I still think on our side, like, why do we feel the need to compare people? Like, at the end of the day, and this goes for Keke Palmer and Zendaya, for like you said, Halle Berry and other actresses. Even just we compare all our black people, to one another in a means to take one down, to destroy one of them. Basically, even like Jordan and LeBron, like we want to destroy LeBron so much that we want and prop Jordan up. Like it's just like, what's the point? They both, all these people have exceeded, have exuded greatness. They've done things that most ordinary people would never do in their lifetimes, and they're putting on for black people. They're a representation of us. Now, if they were openly saying, hey, I don't fuck with y'all, then yes, I would have a problem with that. Because yes, if you're not gonna claim your blackness and you're using your blackness to get these roles, and like Rob was saying, go from one side to another, then yes, that's a problem. But when it's being used to divide our community and people are arguing when both of these actresses are great actresses and the only discrepancy is their net worth, it's stupid at the end of the day. Somebody's got to make more money than one another. They're not gonna make the same amount of money, no matter how you slice it, no matter what you want to do. Like, and if it is a casting thing, then go after the people that cast these actresses. Don't go after the Zendaya. It's not her fault that she's light skinned and getting casted. That's not her That's not her fault. You need to go after the people that are casting these roles and want light skinned black women instead of darker skinned black women.
That'd be my
That's the
thing. It's like
problem.
even going into what Rob was saying. It's like, I mean, y'all, you can't, you can't. It's almost like saying, "Oh, bro, you grew up in the suburbs. I grew up in the project, so fuck you. You ain't lived like me." Like, I mean, like, bro, it's like you can't be upset at me because my parents had me in a safer area or in a somewhat better area. You know what I mean? You can't get upset at this girl because she was birthed fair skinned. I mean, who cares? Why does any of
She
that
didn't control that.
matter?
But then we're not gonna act like in our community when we see mixed people that we talk down on them either. Like when they go to school, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Y'all treat them like an outcast. But now when they successful, then you want to try to tear them down.
Yep.
So you can't have it both ways. You can't joke about them, get your jokes off, and when they growing up, and then when they're mad successful, then you want to talk about they ain't black enough or they, you want to. I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? I'm black. I claim my blackness. I support all black people. I'm not finna tear nobody down just because the complexion of their skin. It does not matter to me. I don't
So
care if they was raised in the suburbs. I don't give a fuck if they was raised in Section 8 housing. I don't give a fuck. If you successful and you get into this bag, then congrats to you, my nigga. And we'll keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day.
that's the problem that we have in our community. We talk about it. It seems like we talk about it almost every show. Why do we continue to tear us down? One day we will learn. When that day comes, I don't know. But it sound like y'all, some of y'all motherfuckers that's hating on Zendaya need to join in with the Alphabet Crew so y'all can go get your rocks off at some fucking convention. I don't know. On to the next topic. What we got left? Oh yeah, Kid Cudi and Rolling Loud. Kid Cudi and Rolling Loud. So there's a big situation, which is I thought was funny. I mean, if I was Kid Cudi, I probably would have jumped in the crowd and show my twisted dark fantasy, but it's all good. So apparently he was hit in the face a couple times, and he told her, "Hey, look, man, y'all throw something else on the stage, it's gonna be a problem. I'll walk off the stage," and he did exactly that. So I mean, what y'all think about that? All I'm gonna say is I would have did the exact same thing, and I probably would have called a
Man,
lawsuit.
why they do my boy cut?
I would have gave
Why they
them
do my
boys the
boy Cudi like
fisticuffs.
that, bro? That's tough, man. Like they hit that boy in the face. I feel bad for that nigga. I would have did the exact same thing,
Oh, I don't know,
and you
man.
know what I'm
It,
saying.
It would have got bad, bro.
I'd have been.
hey, if I had a saw who did it, I'm going into the crowd.
Oh
I'm
yeah, we're
getting I'm
going into
getting
the
on
crowd.
somebody. I'm getting
I'm
on
finna
somebody's
pull.
ass, man.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
telling
I'm
you.
finna
pull
pull.
Roddy
I'm finna
Rich.
pull the baby. Goddamn it,
Oh
we finna
yeah,
y'all. Yeah, we finna go into the crowd on some shit because he didn't just hit that like hit him in the he hit that nigga in the face. You know what I'm saying, in
It,
the head.
no, man. We talk about various things, and people feel like it gives them a green light to do certain things. And
Ass.
going back to your boy, going back to the slap heard around the
Oh
world.
yeah, Will Smith.
When like it's like when people see other things happen, it's like they feel like this is their green light to go do stuff that they always wanted to do. Man, when you pay your money to go to a concert, when you pay your money to go to a comedy show, when you go or pay your money to be entertained, period, you pay your money to be entertained. You do
Facts.
not pay your money to go harass, to go assault, to go do any other thing, to go participate in the entertainment. You are there to go sit your butt down and go consume the entertainer. That's why when they have the advertisement, they have the poster up there. They clearly tell you who is going to be presented or who is going to entertain. Because guess what? They're giving you the option. Hey, I like Dave Chappelle. Hey, I can't stand Dave Chappelle. I know he's going to be here October the 26th. So guess what? If I know he's going to be there on October the 26th and I know I don't like him, guess what? I'm not going there October the 26th because I don't like him. Why would I go pay money to go boo? That to me, that seems like the dumbest thing ever. I'm finna go give him some money to go boo. I'm finna go pay my money. Kid Cudi come out on stage. I'm start throwing stuff. I'm throwing stuff at him. What? So now he goes and leaves, and I don't get to hear day and night. I'm just
Day and night.
I'm just saying. Now you have robbed everybody else from the experience of being able. What about the people there that drove hundreds of miles to go see him because that was their favorite artist? That's my favorite artist. I came there to go see him, and now he gone because your dumb liquored up ass then threw something on stage. I mean, it just makes no sense. People are selfish. People are ignorant. People do some of the dumbest things, and I mean, it's just no place for it. To me, it's just no place for it. If it, like I said, and I'll be through with it. If it was me, and I was Cudi, and I saw exactly who threw it. I'm sorry. It's over.
Real quick. One time for the one time. Widen us out right quick, right? Widen us out. Widen us out. Widen our boxes out. All right, y'all see that name right there, right? Make America scrap again. Okay, go ahead and bring us back in, because that's exactly what I would have did. It would have been a mosh pit. Motherfucker hit me in the face with a bottle after I just told you not to. Oh, bro, we scrapping at the end of the day. I don't care. It ain't much to say about this topic. It is not much to say. Sometimes you gotta get these fisticuffs. I gotta show your ass the day and the night. At the end of the day,
you gotta show the day and the night.
I gotta show your ass the day and the night. At the end of the day, so look,
night, nigga.
You say what you want to say, bro. At the end of the day, that
Steph
boy
Curry,
would have went to sleep. He would have went to sleep. I know he sucked because he clearly stepped up to the edge of the stage and said, if y'all do it again, it's gonna be a problem. And you saw the junk come from his left side of the stage. So I would have known everybody on the left side is about to get fucked up at this current moment until y'all point out who exactly it was. So hey, at the end of the day, man, that could just be the Memphis in me. It could just be the Memphis in me, but hey, if y'all ain't gonna point out the one person who can get these hands, all y'all gonna get these hands. It just is what it is. I beat all y'all motherfucking ass. Oh, my mama, stop playing with me, bro.
Kid Cudi gets destroyed in concert.
We would have went out there with my bodyguards and beat the hell out them folks.
Nigga, what? Security?
Shit, ain't nobody finna Will Smith me. I'm finna stomp the shit out these folks. On everything.
Come get these niggas, cuz. Man, they have to do my boy Cudi. They have to do my boy Cudi like that,
man. That boy gonna scrub the paint off his nails, bro. Golly.
That's tough, bro. That's tough, man.
Man, go on to the next topic, bro.
Yeah, man.
So as y'all know, as we do every episode, we talk about the best thing that we have seen all week. So fellas, y'all let me know. I got mine for sure.
I know. Hold on. We probably gonna say the same thing, man.
Now you go first, man. We'll see.
Wakanda forever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, man. I just seen a lot of stuff this weekend, but man, that trailer got me hyped in a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And seeing them commemorating Chadwick, salute to Chadwick, rest in peace to the homie. And the trailer looks dope, man. I mean, what else can you say about it? Seeing Wakanda and everybody after the devastation of losing T'Challa, and it looks like Shuri, to me personally, is going to be the next Black Panther. I don't know. And my only gripe is that I've seen a lot of negative comments towards Shuri being a Black Panther. I don't know why. I think she'd make a dope Black Panther. I think she's gonna be. She's got the character. Her character is really solid. I think she has the dynamics. You know what I'm saying, as far as her character, and I feel like she'll be a dope Black Panther. But we'll see. A lot of people want Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger, to be the Black Panther, but I don't know. He died supposedly, for one, and for two, why would they, after he's a villain, make him a hero? Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense, even if it is in the comics. Whatever. But anyway, props to Marvel. They released a whole bunch of stuff, so it's not just that. I really want to kudos to all the stuff that they dropped. We're gonna see Blade. We're getting another Avengers. We're getting multiple different series and movies. So Marvel came with the smoke, because a lot of people were saying that this year was underwhelming when it came to their movies. So Marvel was like, "Oh, watch this." You know what I'm saying? They hit niggas with the okie doke, bro. They're like, you know what I'm saying? So kudos to Marvel, man. But yeah, y'all fellas, what's the best thing y'all have seen this week?
For me, it was actually getting a chance to see somebody talk that I never saw talk before, and actually he was actually really good. Asante Samuel, saw him on I Am Athlete podcast, and he was really really good. He's entertaining. He gave some insight to playing for Bill Belichick. He ripped the curtain all the way. He ripped the curtain all the way back. Talking about how people think Bill Belichick is this and is that, and he basically said it's all Tom Brady. He was like, people say this stuff and they say he's this and he's that. Man, that man got Tom Brady, and that's what separates him basically from everybody else. But it was interesting, and I won't give it away. I'll let y'all watch it. But when he talked about his holdout, and he talked about he got Belichick on the phone, and he was like, "Hey, I'm coming up there," and they knew what he was talking about when he said, "I'm coming up there." So they went on and gave him, they went on and got his deal. They went on and got his deal done before he went up there with that that South Florida foolishness. So Asante Samuel on I Am Athlete podcast was really good and really entertaining.
That's what's up. The best thing I seen all week, I actually saw before we watched the show, man, was actually a sermon that TD Jakes preached on what he posted on July 3rd. Timing is everything.
I already know.
Ooh, brother, let me tell you something, man. That hit home on a lot of different things, because it's so crazy, man, when you think about life and how you getting older, and you as much as you don't want to say it, as much as you don't want to think it, you do have those negative thoughts that creep in your mind. I mean, we've been doing this podcast thing for a year. We see other people who just started their podcast a couple months ago, and they getting hundreds of thousands of views, and we get a couple views, and it is what it is. But just listening to what he's saying, like you can either be planted as wheat or planted as weeds. Which one do you want to be? Timing is everything. It's going to take time to get what you need and get where you need to be at. But at the end of the day, when you get where you need to be, when you make the necessary sacrifices that you have to make, and you get to that shining light, that's what you have harvest at the end of the day. And I mean, it just wasn't about this podcast, man. It's just about a lot of things in life that me and my wife want to accomplish, that I'm sure y'all want to accomplish. So I would definitely encourage everyone to go and check that out. It's called Timing is Everything. Had your boy in his feels over here, man. I had to wipe my eyes, had a couple tears coming down my eyes. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you know what I mean? Hey, I had to get tough on him. You feel me? But hey, you have officially made it to the end of episode 41. We appreciate you all for making it this far. As the three amigos always say, don't forget to like, subscribe, click that bell, turn your notifications on, comment, and share it so the entire world can see the video. Right? Now,
Facts.
Coming from myself, coming from Rob, coming from Reese, if you did not feel us this time, I guarantee you will feel us the next. I'm gonna do it the same exact way. Now get the fuck off my motherfucking screen, nigga!
Just got through talking about TD Jakes.
I know, right?
Terrible.
Forgive me, Jesus. Forgive me, Lord.
Hey, it's your boy Rob from the They Gon' Feel Me podcast. And if you want more authentic conversation from authentic men, check out this video.